Everyone. Today we are going to present the new RIF funding scheme, quite different program compared to the other funding schemes. The new STEP program. The STEP program is setting up facilities and production lines for manufacturing new innovative products and services. This is the first time that RIF launches a program to finance local companies interested in developing critical technologies and setting up facilities and production lines for manufacturing new innovative products. So far, all our products, all our programs have been aiming at the development of new innovative products. Now this program comes to support the next step, which is the manufacturing of these innovative products. The program supports three sectors: the digital and deep technology innovation, clean and resource efficient technologies, and biotechnologies. These three sectors are described in the STEP regulation, and let me say that this program is based on the EU STEP regulation that has the aim of supporting EU to be more independent and to develop and manufacture critical technologies within the EU. So all products or all proposals should be in line with the STEP regulation. We have the link to the STEP regulation and also to the STEP guidance note, which is a supporting document explaining definitions of the STEP regulation. And these are the main two documents, along with others, of course, based on which the program was designed. As I said before, the STEP regulation wants to make EU independent in critical technologies. So the program supports proposals that promote critical technologies. What is considered as critical technology is technologies that bring to the EU internal market an innovative, emerging, and cutting-edge element with significant economic potential, and also they contribute to reducing or preventing strategic dependencies of the Union. The STEP regulation highlights the vital importance of strengthening the entire value chain associated with the development or manufacturing of critical technologies to reduce the Union's strategic dependencies and preserving the integrity of the internal market. It's important to highlight what does the regulation mean by the term value chain. Value chain refers to final products, specific components and specific machinery used to produce the final products, critical raw materials, and associated services critical to and specific to the development of those final products. As I mentioned before, the guidance note, the STEP guidance note, also explains these definitions and what can be included in these definitions. So there are two types of activities that are supported. First is the development of these critical technologies, and development refers to activities aimed to achieving technological breakthroughs and perfecting the technology for market needs, including enhancing its efficiency, reliability. And manufacturing activities includes the setting up of production lines, the setting up of first-of-a-kind facilities, the extension or repurposing of existing facilities, scaling up processes to meet demand, and/or implementing quality control mechanisms to ensure the consistent production of high-quality products. It's important to highlight that STEP does not include the installation and deployment of the final products. So the production itself is not supported. The production line, this is what is supported, the production line to produce the final product. But also, but it does cover associated services that are critical and specific to the development and manufacturing of these products. An example of an associated service is the a clinical trial laboratory where you can test, for example, a pharmaceutical to be produced as a final product. Who are the beneficiaries of this program? The host organization must be a small, medium, or large enterprise. However, partner organizations, such as research organizations, other enterprises, or other private sector organizations may participate to support the host organization to achieve the technological objectives of the project. What does this mean? That partners can participate in the development process, but they cannot participate in the manufacturing activities, with the exemption of a host being a large enterprise and they are using the Article 29, which I will explain later. In that case, SMEs can participate as partners in manufacturing activities with at least 30% of the total eligible cost. I have a few slides with the main program provisions. Each enterprise can only submit one proposal as host organization. The project coordinator must be employed by the host organization at the time of proposal submission. All facilities and production lines must be set up in territories under the control of the Republic of Cyprus. Of course, the host organization and partner organizations must also be located and active in territories under the control of the Republic of Cyprus and registered. The program does not fund expenses for buildings and the land. It supports only the setting up of the production line. Also, development activities must not exceed 10% of the total budget or 200,000 euros, whichever amount is lower. The program must include necessarily manufacturing activities. In addition, it can also include development activities. This is, however, not mandatory, it's optional, in case it is needed for the final steps of the development of the product or service to be produced. So, in the proposal, you must describe the product service to be produced through manufacturing, and specify how long and what are the necessary activities, development activities required to reach the ready for production milestone. I want to clarify that these activities are optional. In case your product or service is ready to be produced, you can use only manufacturing activities. In case development activities are proposed, then you need to define the milestone ready for production for your product, which will be evaluated by an external expert to ensure that it meets the agreed on specifications. Also, purchase orders for the machinery and equipment must be placed not later than 12 months from the project's start date. So projects can have a duration of 2 to 3 years, 24 months to 36 months. And orders for the supply, for the production line must be placed not later than 12 months from the project start date. The proposed facility production line must be fully operational by the end of the project. So this is the main target, by the end of the project, to have the production line fully operational. Also, in the proposal, you must allocate different budget for development activities, if applicable, and different budget for the production line. and no adjustments to this allocation can be done at a later stage. And also the production line established through the project should be maintained for at least 5 years after the end of the project. Some other provisions during contract preparation. At least one representative from the host organization must attend some training seminars organized by RIF in order to support you during the project implementation. And also during the contract preparation, RIF will proceed with a due diligence process where all documents submitted will be reviewed and verified, and also additional information might be requested. And of course, a meeting will be held at the premises of the host organization where the production line will be hosted. The call was announced early June, and the deadline is September 5th at 1 o'clock. The budget is 10 million euros. This is distributed 33.3% in the three sectors. Maximum funding per project is 2 million. The project duration is 24 to 36 months, and projects must start at the latest January 2nd, 2026. Besides the STEP regulation, it is important to highlight that the state aid regulations also apply, because under this regulation, RIF can provide funding for this type of activities. So there are different options in the state aid regulation that can be used to allow funding for this type of activities. In particular, for the manufacturing part, an enterprise can use Article 22, which is specific for startups, Article 29, which is for process and organizational innovation, Article 14, which is regional investment aid, Article 17, which is investment aid to SMEs, and 31, which is specific for training. And also the de minimis regulation can also be used to support some of the activities. For the development of the critical technologies of the final product, of the proposed product, the organizations can use Article 25, which is the aid for research development projects, and this is what we usually use in all our programs. And also Article 28, which is innovation aid for SMEs. Here we have the state aid regulation link, and also to GBER, a link to GBER, where you can find more information about these articles. Just to help clarify a few things of what can be applied in each case. For startups, startups are allowed to use Article 22, which is startup aid. This article allows for a funding of up to 500,000 for all areas, or 0.75 million for startups located in Ramsey area. What is Ramsey area? Cyprus has declared, let me have a slide for this. Cyprus has declared the region, some specific areas of Cyprus as sea areas, where an additional intensity and additional support can be provided. So in this link, you can see the areas which are under this sea areas, which are allowed additional investment. Usually it's the suburbs, some regions, some in the not the main cities, it's outside the main cities. So startups located in those areas can benefit up to 750,000 euros, and in other areas up to 500,000. This is the same article used in our seed and pre-seed programs. And this amount is collectively for each startup. So if a startup has benefited from the seed program with 500,000, they cannot use this article in this case. If they have not benefited from seed, pre-seed, or other funding schemes of the government for as a startup, they can use this. In other cases, they can be considered as small enterprise and can be supported as an SME. What are the options for SMEs? SMEs can use Article 14 if they are again located in Ramsey areas, and also are planning an initial investment in favor of a new economic activity. So what does that mean? There are definitions of this in the regulation, and I urge you to take a look at them, and also in the description, the full description of the STEP program. Initial investment in favor of a new economic activity means that they will produce a new product line, a product that is not the same as the ones that have already been producing. Or initial investment, a completely new investment. The aid intensity for this can reach 35% for small enterprises and 25% for medium. If an SME is located outside the Ramsey area, then they can use Article 17, which is a general article that supports all SMEs. And the maximum aid intensity is 20% for small enterprises and 10% for medium-sized enterprises. Alternatively, if the SME is planning for process and organizational innovation, again, the description and definitions are in the STEP program and the GBER regulation and the state aid regulation, then the maximum aid intensity can be 50%. Now, for large enterprises, there are two options. If they are located in a Ramsey area, then they can use Article 14, but only if they are doing an initial investment in favor of a new economic activity, not for a general investment. It has to be a new economic activity for the company. And the maximum aid intensity is 15%. However, also they can also use the Article 29 for process and organizational innovation. But mandatorily, they have to effectively collaborate with SMEs for this purpose, and the collaborating SMEs must have at least 30% of the total eligible cost. And in this case, the aid intensity can be up to 15%. And 15% in Article 29, the cost is depreciation cost for equipment. In the other cases, the eligible cost is for the capital expenditure. Additionally, all enterprises can make use of the Article 31 for training aid, but the training aid has to be specifically for the manufacturing activities, and can include cost for the training of employees, of personnel, and the aid intensity can be up to 70% for small enterprises, 60% for medium enterprises, and 50% of large enterprises. And then the minimis regulation can provide support up to 300,000 euros per company undertaking per 3-year period. So again, if you have used the minimis in any other case, this amount comes up to the rest of the amount that you are allowed. If you have used, for example, 100,000 already, then the maximum you can use is 200,000. For the development activities, Article 25 can be used to support the R&D activities up to TRL 8 and above TRL 6. So your product must be at the least at TRL 6 and ready to be produced to TRL 8 in a short period of time. And maximum aid intensity for these activities can be 25% for large enterprises, 35% for medium, and 45% for small enterprises. But under certain conditions, an additional 15% can be included. Finally, aid support can be provided for innovation advisory and support services for SMEs only, not for large enterprises, where the support can be up to 50%. And this is for innovation advisory services to help you protect any IP and so on. This is a table that summarizes all those that I previously said. But here we can also see the eligible expenses. And in most cases, personnel cost and investment cost for equipment, for the actual equipment of the production line, is eligible, with some limitations depending on the article. In Article 29, you can also have some additional expenses. In case that applies in your proposal. Through the minimis, you can also request some cost related to marketing, promotional of the product, and so on. And in case none of the above articles applies, you can use the minimis to buy the manufacturing equipment. And in case you don't use any of the others, it's mandatory to have equipment in the de minimis regulation. This is the RAMS area. Now the proposal sections. The proposal has, you can find all documents, first of all, for the call on IRIS. And here I have the screenshot from IRIS where you can see all these documents. I have some of the documents here. And there is a part A where it's an electronic form on IRIS, and then all other documents will be uploaded on IRIS. First of all, we have the call document with all participation regulations, eligible expenses, state aid articles, step regulation, and so on, in both English and Greek on IRIS. Also, the guide for evaluators is, you can find the guide for evaluators where you can see how the evaluation will be done. This, you can also find the step regulation and the step guidance note. The step guidance note includes explanation of what is the value chain, what is critical technologies, what is the 3 sectors, what is included under the 3 sectors. And I urge you to study both documents if you are interested in this program. Now, let's go to part B, where this is what you will use to describe your proposal, to prepare your proposal. We have a Word document, that is this part B template, and an Excel document which you will use for the budget preparation. The Word document, which is the part B, includes in the beginning your selection for the sector, a short table of the budget requested funding, the state aid you will use for your activities, for your manufacturing activities, and then declaration whether you development activities are foreseen to finalize your product or no development activities are needed and that your product is ready for manufacturing. The template has several sections. The first section is compatibility with the STEP regulation and objectives. Section 2 is development activities. This you will describe in case you have development activities. And section 3, manufacturing activities, where you will describe all manufacturing activities related to the setting up of the production line. And some other sections are below, like the training activities and other sections. You can see this on IRIS. Now, the Excel file that I have mentioned has some guidelines on how to complete the Excel section. And once completed, you must use this to convert to PDF and merge with the Word document and upload as one document on Part B on IRIS. Here you can select the host category, if it's a small, medium, or large enterprise, and the relevant aid intensities for each line will appear. And also, in case you are a large enterprise and you will have SMEs as partners, also specifically for Article 29, you can use this. Now, in the second section of the table, you will have your development cost. Again, you select, in case of partners, their category and the relevant aid intensity appears. And this is a summary project budget that will summarize your budget and requested funding. Additionally to these documents, you must upload a series of documents also with your proposal. The first one is the CVs of at least of the coordinator. And in Annex 2, you must submit a techno-economical analysis and business plan for your proposal. The contract deployment of the project coordinator with the host organization, because, as we said, he must already be employed by the host organization at the moment of the proposal submission. The cost estimation for the machinery and equipment necessary for the setup of the production line. So it's important to have 3 offers from 3 different suppliers, and you will use these offers to make the cost estimation. Additionally, in Annex 3, you must submit an expert opinion on the eligibility of the selected aid articles for the activities related to the manufacturing activities. So you must contact an expert on this area to support you and see which article is relevant to your proposal. Also, documentation of own funding. As we have seen in the table, aid intensity is not very high, and this is regulated by the state aid regulation. So the own funding, the own contribution of the company must be documented. That is secure to finally purchase the production line. And also results of the analysis for the unrestricted ability to commercially exploit the project results, meaning you have the freedom to operate, the freedom to produce the proposed product. Also documentation, providing the initiation of necessary contacts with the relevant authorities. For example, if you are going to build a factory in an industrial area and you need to contact the Ministry of Commerce and so on, you must have documentation that you have already initiated these activities. Also, sufficient documentation that you have access to materials and or components necessary to produce your final product. And any other supporting documentation necessary to substantiate the claims made in the proposal. Now, the evaluation procedure. The evaluation procedure starts with the preliminary review process, where all requested documents are considered essential and will be required to be submitted. In case any of the required documents are not submitted, the proposal will be considered invalid and not proceed to the scientific evaluation. During the scientific evaluation, the scientific evaluation will be done by 3 independent thematic evaluation committees, one in each sector, one in advanced digital technologies, one in clean and resource efficient technologies, and one in biotechnologies. Each committee will consist of 5 experts, plus an expert on state aid issues. So what you propose as an option for your state aid selection will also be evaluated by the expert in the evaluation committee without scoring. Let me clarify. The committees will create a ranking list of proposals for each sector. And once the evaluation process is complete, the coordinator will receive the evaluation report. The results will be final, and no appeals will be allowed. The committees will first be asked to do a compatibility check of your proposal. The proposal must be compatible with the objectives of the STEP program. The proposed technologies are along the definition of the critical STEP technologies. They are compatible with the STEP definition for manufacturing activities. Your proposed manufacturing activities must be compatible with the STEP definition. Your proposed development activities, if there are any, must be compatible with the STEP definition for development activities. Also, the selected STEP sector must be compatible with your proposal, and also the proposed type of activities for TRLs. As I said, your product must be at the least at TRL level 6 during proposal submission. The evaluation criteria are 3: excellence, added value and benefit, and implementation. And there are several points under each criterion. And you can see analytical description of these evaluation criteria in the STEP program document. And as I already said, the appropriateness of the selected state aid article for financing the proposed manufacturing activities will also be assessed without score to ensure that it aligns with the activities outlined in the proposal. I must say there is a provision that in case you have selected a wrong article and another article can't be applied, that this can be changed at the stage of the contract preparation. Now, how is the selection of the proposals will be done? As I said, each thematic evaluation committee will prepare a ranking list of proposals, and proposals will be selected in each sector up to the available budget of the sector. In case there is remaining budget in a sector and there are eligible proposals in other sectors, this budget can be used to fund other proposals according to their score. The funding payment will be done in 3 payments. The pre-financing is 60% of the requested funding, and this is separate for each activity, manufacturing and development. For example, if you start with development activities and manufacturing starts 6 months later, then the payment will be done before the scheduled month of the activity. So at 6 months later. The interim payment is 20% of the requested funding, provided that you have already have more than 50% of the eligible costs of the first period implemented, and the final payment, which is the remaining of the eligible expenses. Now, how to submit a proposal? First of all, start studying the relevant documents. The second step is to contact RIF and book an appointment to provide support. We have an open day scheduled for July 2nd. In case there are many requests, we will schedule another day as well. So, but in any case, you can request an appointment and we can have a meeting to discuss your proposal and provide support. Of course, you should start collecting all necessary documents necessary to submit the proposal. Contact relevant experts and authorities to secure necessary documentation. In case you have not already registered, you must register on IRIS. The coordinator, the legal representative of the organization, and the legal representative will register the organization. Contact suppliers to acquire offers for setting up the production line. And of course, RIF will provide continuous support throughout the submission process to all interested applicants. We have received some questions in the registration, and I encourage you to ask any other questions in the Q&A section of the webinar. However, we will take a look at them later and issue an FAQ document that includes your questions. Now I will answer the questions submitted during registration. The first question is, there is a need to build new offices to create the required workspace and facilities for new software products. Does STEP support these activities? STEP does not support building offices or land as mentioned in the program, and it can support the setting up of the production line to produce a final product, components of a final product, or an associated service as in the STEP regulation. The second question is, X company is 10 years old. Can they benefit from the STEP program? There is no limitation in the age or the type of company. Any small, medium, or large enterprise can submit a proposal, of course, compatible with the STEP program. We want to understand about in-kind contribution. What counts as an in-kind contribution? The contribution actually is not in-kind because, as I said before, the aid intensity can be 10, 20, 30, in some cases up to 50%. So the rest of the contribution for the project should be own contribution of the company. So probably it will be in cash contribution in order to purchase the equipment or cover the personnel costs, the eligible personnel costs. Given that STEP is a leverage product development program, it's not a product development program, it's a production line, setting up of production lines program. Does it also offer opportunities for expansion or collaboration with other European companies for an already existing program? No, collaboration with other companies is not eligible under this program. And also, I want to clarify again that this is a program to set up production lines. It's not a collaborative program to as Horizon Europe or our other programs for product development by RIF. This product gives emphasis on the setting up of production lines that will produce critical technologies as defined by STEP regulation, and also that support the value chain, again, as described in the STEP regulation. Also, another question is assembling okay or only manufacturing from scratch? The program, again, is for manufacturing. It's not for assembling. So, again, you can contact us through RIF support, through email, support@research.org.cy, through phone, and also again, look for the FAQ document that will be published soon. And contact us to arrange an appointment if you are interested in this program. And you can also submit some questions here in the Q&A section that will be answered later. Thank you very much for your participation, and please contact us in case you have any question. The webinar is recorded and will be available on our website soon with the presentation. Thank you again and have a good afternoon.